PayDay Abroad is an audio-only experience. Feel free to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Servus und willkommen. Welcome to another edition of PayDay Abroad. This episode's German word or phrase of the week, Spiegel, or in English, mirror. Hey there. I gotta start this episode off by saying that we're gonna take a bit of a turn here. Normally these episodes, there's some sort of thing that I've been up to, some sort of, recap of a prevailing theme in my life recently, right? But today, I felt like it was important to make this episode about someone who allowed for this whole Kufstein adventure to even happen. And that would be Joyce Krause, also known as my grandma. Joyce was a walking myriad of rightfully earned accomplishments. She was this champion of education, this pioneer, and this advocate for so many people. She was this rare combination of just vast, endless knowledge, but also incredible hard work and work ethic that you really don't meet these kind of people too often in your life. Admittedly, she was kind of an inspiration in this way alone. But her hard work and infinite well of knowledge is far from what she was. It's just part of who she was. Because as many of us luckily came to figure out, Joyce had a heart that was bigger than the sun. It was just as warm too. And she had a soul that understood the world and the beautiful people within it. In a way, I'm lucky that I got to meet her in this type of capacity. But in a way, I'm also unfortunate, though, that I never got to fully understand and appreciate her in the multifaceted, well-accomplished totality that Joyce Krause really was. Because to me, she was my grandma. And she always will be. Growing up, I didn't know about her PhD and her educational journey and all the hard work she put in. All I knew was that she wanted me to get one day. Joyce's house was this place that, growing up, honestly, was amazing. You had Tootsie Rolls everywhere. You had endless toys that you loved playing with but then hated picking up. And you had these dinners that really came from the soul. I think her house is honestly where I picked up my endless addiction to Oreos, about being so real. As time went on, weekends at Grandma's house, or Meemaw as we called her, became fewer and far between. Life comes at you fast. One minute you're scrambling home from her house to get ready for a JFL home game. Another moment you're in high school eating late night McDonald's with the homies. And then you blink and you're in college trying to figure out if your major was the right one to pick. And fortunately in my case, I feel like it was. And in all that time, Meemaw was this constant, despite the ever-changing nature of the lives we were living. She was a constant, and always there for you, and always had space for you in her home and in her heart, even if you failed to appreciate how wonderful that truly was. As time went on, though, an unfortunate reality did set in. Meemaw was having a harder time taking care of herself. So, after I came back from Germany and wrapped up, college, I moved in with her while I was, quote, figuring my life out, and I took care of her. Spoiler, by the way, didn't figure it out too quickly. Took me some time. I was joined by an incredible team of people who worked with so much compassion and care during these times, and we tried to give Meemaw back as much as we could the same amount of love that she gave to us. But it was never the same. It was never going to be. Because Joyce Krause had so much love to give, and in a way, I still think she does. You see, in living with her and caring for her, I had the opportunity to save up money, to go to Kufstein and to study. This woman highly valued education. She even asked me one time when I was like 19 or whatever, she said, "Nick, when are you going to get that PhD?" And I told her, "Slow down, me, Mom. We don't even know if I'm getting a master's degree." Well, with her help and support, now I am. In the final months of Joyce's life, it was becoming unfortunately abundantly clear that her time was starting to wind down. An impressive life full of good and rippling kindness was unfortunately coming to an end. But I remember last summer, on a warm, sunny Saturday, deciding that, Nick, it's finally time to tell Mima about Kufstein, about grad school, about leaving Charleston and beginning this grand Austrian expedition. So me and the other coworker that day, we were prepping her lunch. We got her sitting comfortably in her chair, and we got her ready for the day. By this point, it was becoming hard for Mima to maintain active eye contact during conversations. But despite not knowing how present she would be for this conversation, I felt like Mima still deserved to know that I was leaving. So I gave it a shot. Mima, I found this grad program in Austria. It's in a small town called Kufstein. It's sports, culture, event management, and I'm so excited to go. And for a moment, these familiar eyes met my gaze. Not the familiar eyes of a woman who was my caretaking responsibility. No. These were the eyes of the woman who took me to Dairy Queen and introduced me to Louis Armstrong in her iconic Buick. She nodded approvingly, and she gave me an assuring look. I told her about this town and all of the exciting aspects of this program and when I was going to leave, and she looked at me, she nodded along, she was clear and present. And I'd like to say that I think I even saw her smile a bit. She gave me her permission. She gave me her blessing. And in that moment, she gave me her all. For on that day, she was my same old grandma again. Joyce Krause would pass away less than 2 days later. And admittedly, that was one of the toughest days of my life. But how blessed am I to be one of the hundreds, no thousands of people that got to benefit from Joyce Krause's love and kindness. To quantify it alone is impossible. And that's what I mean when I say that in a way I still think that Joyce has love to give. Because every time that I make food for my friends, her love ripples through onto every plate. Every time that my mom discusses the importance of education, her Mima's voice echoes in harmony with it. Every time that my brother teaches his children what's important in their lives and what they should know, her wisdom rings true in every word that he utters. And that doesn't even account to the people I've never met, the strangers that she never learned the name of, all the generations currently and then preceding us that were big and small, influenced by the abundant kindness and joy that Joyce Krause had to give to us all, and in a way still is. I am just a humble part of her reflection, and how honored I am to be a small part of this beautiful, endless, timeless mirror of compassion and love. Thank you for tuning into this edition of PayDay Abroad. If you would like to support the show, please feel free to give this episode a like and share it with your friends. Stay tuned for more episodes in the coming weeks, and until next time, be safe, have fun, and auf Wiedersehen.